Hello. I wanted to begin with something that genuinely stopped me in my tracks when I read it. Researchers conducted MRI scans of women's brain at two different points in the cycle and compared the results. What they found was striking. The structure of the brain itself was not the same. Not just activity or mood shifts, but the actual physical architecture of the brain changed depending on the phase of the cycle. When I read this article, published literally just a few days ago, because on the 30th of March, I had a powerful thought. This doesn't just add information, it deepens the entire way we understand the cycle. It gives a richer meaning to observing it. And that's exactly what today's episode is about. Before I go further, if you're on YouTube or Spotify and you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. And if this sounds like something a friend needs to hear, please send it to her. Okay, right. Back to the brain now. So they recruited 32 healthy women with regular cycles, none of whom had used hormonal contraception for at least 6 months. Each participant underwent MRI scans twice within the same cycle. The timing of these scans was carefully confirmed using blood tests and ovulation tests. The researchers measured grey matter volume and the thickness of the cerebral cortex. So they conducted scans at two radically different time points. First, on days 1 to 2, at the beginning of the menstruation, when both estrogen and progesterone are at the absolute lowest. Second, during the peri-ovulatory phase, so days between 12 to 16, when estrogen is reaching its peak and progesterone just after ovulation is only beginning to rise. So these are two most hormonally opposite points in the entire cycle. And that's precisely why they were chosen. So the most important findings. Total grey matter volume was significantly greater during the peri-ovulatory phase than during menstruation. So the brain quite literally had more thinking tissue when hormone levels were higher. At first, everyone assumed that estrogen was doing the heavy lifting. After all, it's the hormone that peaks at that point in the cycle. But when the data was analyzed more closely, something surprising emerged. The main driver, in a positive way, turned out to be progesterone. And this is a crucial insight, because progesterone is often given far less attention. We tend to focus on estradiol and its role in cervical mucus, and yet progesterone has a profound impact on the structure of the brain. So, specifically, where does the brain change? During the peri-ovulatory phase, here on the left-hand side of the actual study image, higher progesterone levels were strongly associated with increased volume in cerebellum and the fusiform gyrus, so the regions responsible, among other things, for coordination, facial recognition, and emotional processing. In contrast, during menstruation, here on the right-hand side, this same association shifted towards the orbitofrontal cortex, an area crucial for emotional regulation, decision-making, and empathy. It wasn't just about the volume. The thickness of the cerebral cortex also changed, and again, depending on the phase. Around ovulation, the cortex was thicker in the parietal regions, here on the left, which are responsible for attention, spatial orientation, and sensory integration. During menstruation, here on the right-hand side of the study image, increased thickness was observed in areas linked to sensation, language, and memory. The brain is quite literally reorganizing itself every month. Different regions, different capacities, different versions of you, depending on where you are, where your hormones are. And importantly, the researchers confirmed that these changes occur precisely in the areas with the highest concentration of progesterone receptors. Why does this matter for fertility awareness? So when you observe your cycle, you track cervical mucus, phase lengths, signs of what estrogen and progesterone are doing. This study reveals that these same hormones are simultaneously reshaping your brain. Your cycle is not only a map of fertility, it is a monthly map of your cognitive and emotional landscape. The peri-ovulatory window is also the time when your brain reaches its highest grey matter volume and shows increased activity in social and emotional regions. And menstruation, neurologically, is genuinely different from the rest of the cycle. This knowledge offers more than information. It brings a deeper, fuller awareness of your body. And this is exactly why we created Fertility Flow, a tool built on this very perspective, not just a calendar, but a biological system for understanding your entire cycle, your mood, energy, thinking, and relationships. You can sign up for free at fertilityflow.app. The link is in the description. We would truly value your feedback at this early stage as the platform was just released a couple of days ago. Let me close with one more important point. In the study, the women also completed mood questionnaires. During menstruation, scores were slightly higher on both the depression scale and premenstrual tension compared to the peri-ovulatory phase. These were completely healthy women with no diagnosis of PMS or PMDD. I think this shows that even in women with regular cycles, menstruation is neurologically a different time. The brain is simply working in a slightly different way. This is not a character weakness or an overreaction. It reflects real changes in the structure and function of specific areas of the brain. And I think this is something worth speaking more openly about. That's it for today. The full reference to the study, which title you can see on the slide, and the link to Fertility Flow are in the description. If you know someone who's been wondering why she feels so different at different points in her cycle, send her this. That's why we make it. Thank you for your time and see you next time. Bye.